deltoid. What would this be?
Scapulars? Scapulars?
Supraspinatus. This one? This one? This? Teres major. And underneath it, teres minor. Okay. And then, of course, in the back, triceps brachialis. A minute. So this has two heads, right?
Biceps.
Okay, what's its origin and what's okay, tell me its origin. Supra, what do we call it? Above the glenoid fossa, the tubercle. The glenoid tubercle and coracoid process. Where does it insert? That's important.
Olecranon?
No, because remember, it supinates. How would inserting an electron do that? That's to be the radius. Because it turns the corkscrew, supinates, and flexes, and pulls the cork. So what bone? Radius. What's a major landmark on the radius, the proximal end? The bump, yeah. What's it called? No. Radial tuberosity. Pretty easy, okay? And then underneath this one is the brachialis, which is much stronger actually, but it inserts into the what? Starts on the humerus, inserts into the ulna. Okay. Now work on some of these. Okay. Now let me give you a little hint. Remember, there's this thing here. So put your hand like this. First muscle you're going to see, and you're not going to maybe see it on our cadaver there, is the what? Pronator teres. Next to it, because these are going to be what? Flexors or extensors?
Flexors.
These are all flexors. Where do flexors usually originate?
Medial.
In the epicondyle. So the little thing, I mean, thumb side would be the flexor carpi radialis. This one in the middle, not going underneath. The flexor example is the palmaris longus. Little finger side, flexor carpi ulnar. Underneath the palmaris longus, flexor digitorum superficialis. Okay. So we got those down. Okay. Pronator teres, flexor carpi radialis, palmaris longus, flexor carpi ulnar, and underneath the digitorum, flexor carpi digitorum. All originate on the medial epicondyle. Now the flexor carpi radialis is also, besides flexing the wrist, flexor carpi, inserts in the base of the second and third metacarpals. What also does it do?
It flexes. Extend.
It flexes, but else does it do? So on the side here, on the thumb side,
Abduction.
adduction,
Abduction.
adduction, okay? The one that's on the little finger side, flexor carpi ulnaris, also does adduction. This is along the side. So it's got flexors here, extensors here, but along the side we also have abduction, medially abduction. Okay? So now we have a whole bunch of things in the back here. What you got to watch out for is this guy, right? This is one starting kind of high. Remember, in general, the extensors, which are on the posterior surface, generally speaking, they originate on the lateral epicondyle. But this one's higher up, starting way up on the, on the humerus. So this is not one of the extensors. It's instead the brachioradialis. So it starts up here. That's your big clue. And inserts down on the radius, but you're not going to see the insertion. There's too much happening down here. Okay, so we have the brachioradialis. Next to it be the extensor carpi radialis, longus. And then extensor carpi radialis brevis. So then on the extensors you have two muscles. Flexor you only have one. So base of the second metacarpal, base of the second, third. In the middle, it's a charm, and you have thin fingers and not a lot of wrinkles, you'll be able to see those, I can at least feel them underneath. Okay, and then the extensor carpi ulnaris, okay? And what would this be? Triceps brachii. What does it insert into? An olecranon. Extensor. And it originates partially on the infraglenoid tubercle, underneath, and then also on the above, on the humerus, above and below the radial groove. Okay. And the group of muscles here on the fleshy part of the thumb is called the thenar group. The little finger side, the fleshy part, is called the hypothenar, and in the middle, mid-palmar. Now, did you get all that?
Yes.
No? Any questions? Want to go back with anything? And if it's a muscle that starts and ends in the hand, what would you call that? What kind of muscles are those? No, muscles we're talking about. What muscles originate and insert on the hand? Intrinsic. These muscles are extrinsic. They're coming from outside. These are intrinsic. Okay? You want me to do them again? After? Okay. Here's the spine. So above the spine is the supraspinatus. Below the spine, infraspinatus. On the other side, subscapularis. Okay? This is not one of the rotator cuff muscles. This is the teres major. Underneath it would be the teres minor, because teres major is inserting too far down on the humerus to be part of the rotator cuff, or sits muscles. Okay, sits muscles are important because they merge with the capsule, and that reinforces the shoulder joint. What else merges with? What else helps out? Biceps brachii, because it has that tendon that goes up to the supraglenoid tubercle. Did I say it right this time? Supraglenoid tubercle. I'm one of them. That's okay. So those all reinforce the shoulder joint. In general, the shoulder joint is very unstable, but very movable, mobile. Because you want a lot of mobility there, but it's not stable, so it tends to dislocate. How good are ligaments at stabilizing? Not good. They stretch and they snap. Okay. So this is the biceps brachii. What does it do? What's its action?
Flexes.
It flexes and it supinates. So what does it have to insert in? The radius.
Medial.
Because supination. What part of the radius? Radial tuberosity. Okay. Is it the strongest elbow flexor? No, it's just most superficial. So that's what when you see and you learn when you're a little kid and you go around showing everybody and bragging about how strong you are. But deeper is the brachialis, beginning on the humerus, inserting on the ulna. What's another flexor at the elbow? Brachioradialis. And it disobeys one of the general rules I gave you because the bulk of it is past the joint. Usually the bulk is before the joint. The bulk of it is below the joint. So here it is, here again, beginning on the humerus, inserting on the radius. And that also is a flexor of the elbow in mid position. That's the muscle along here. Okay, so media epicondyle has what? It's the origin for the flexors. The lateral epicondyle is the origin for the extensors, generally speaking. But we also have another little sticky muscle here, the pronator teres. Okay. So pronator teres, flexor carpi radialis, which is inserting into the base of the second and third metacarpals. Palmaris longus, flexor carpi ulnaris, and underneath digitorum. And a lot of people are missing this palmaris longus. And the reason why it sticks out, like mine, see, is because it doesn't go underneath that flexor retinaculum. It goes into it kind of and then it's palm. So, but It's not that important a muscle if a lot of people are missing it. I haven't had it on both sides because I'm so superior. Okay. But a lot of people are missing it because it's a weak wrist flexor and you have those other two flexors that are strong. But for us, I like it because it's a nice landmark because it's smack dab in the middle. Okay, so this is the brachioradialis, extensor carpi radialis longus into the base of the second metacarpal. It starts just below this. It starts a little bit above that lateral epicondyle. Then the extensor carpi radialis brevis, which starts right on the lateral epicondyle. The extensor digitorum, extensor carpi ulnaris. Thenar group, hypothenar group, mid-palmar group, intrinsic muscles. Okay? So that's enough for you to think about right